Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the PureDegeneracy podcast and YouTube show. My name is Adam Glick. I'm joined, as always, with Ethan Weingart. Glick's Picks, Wine Locks. Happy holiday season. Hopefully, everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Ethan, it is great to be back, and no better time to be back. We have college football conference championship week this weekend. You're going to be at one of the games. But, Ethan, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was incredible. It was nice to have a lot of friends back in town, be with the family, take a little break from work. And then, now there's no better time to jump back into the madness because like we are entering the March Madness of football. We call it November, December madness because it's the time. Degenerate December.
That's a great term to call it. Yeah, we have selection show on Sunday for college football. Obviously, we're huge Texas fans, huge implications for the playoff. A lot of teams still fighting for that last final spot or two. We also have some teams fighting for New Year's Six Bowl, so a lot on the line for basically every team playing this weekend. There's no championship games that really mean nothing in the grand scheme of things for the most part. Even the smaller teams are fighting for that New Year's Six spot. So we'll get into all of that. But before, please like and subscribe to the video. It helps us out a lot. Descriptions down below to all our social medias, Instagram and TikTok. Good content there. But with that being said, Ethan, I think it's time to get into it. And listen, we have 10 championships. I counted them. I used my math skills. We're at 10. I think we deserve to talk about them, all 10 of them, at least for 30 seconds to a minute, even the smaller ones. So I'll talk about the smaller ones first. We have two games on Friday, two games, Conference USA, and we have obviously a huge Pac 12 championship, and we'll spend a ton of time on that in a second. First, quickly here, and feel free to share any thoughts. Liberty, New Mexico State, two great stories. Liberty, by the way, no one knows about this. They're undefeated. They have not lost a game. However, they have the easiest schedule in all of college football. And then New Mexico State being one of the worst teams in Division One for the last decade plus. Incredible job. They've won 10 games. They also have played 13, which is weird. 10-3. And they beat, by the way, Auburn by 3 touchdowns last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, excuse me. And a team from the same state did not have such an easy time in Alabama. So, transitive property, New Mexico State's better than Bama.
Of
So
course.
we got an 11-point spread. 11-point spread in this game, Liberty, New Mexico State. This game is also in the smaller conferences. Sometimes they do it at their home, the better seeded team. So this game is in Lynchburg, Virginia. I think that's where Liberty is. 11-point spread, 57 over under. You know what? Even official play, I'm taking the
Start us off.
Aggies. Aggies plus 11. This has been a great story. Liberty has not played a good schedule all year. They're going to get tested in a championship game against a feisty New Mexico State squad. And I think they played back in week 2, and Liberty won by 16. It's time for a little revenge spot. I don't think they win, but I think they keep it close. Official play, Conference USA, plus 11, Aggies.
That's beautiful.
Anything you want to say about that?
I mean, I don't really have any, I'm not as informed, and I don't want to give viewers, just some random stuff if I'm not, informed as you are. However, what I will say about New Mexico State, it's crazy to think about where they've come the past like 5 years, because growing up, going to Texas games, there were times where we played New Mexico State and it was just like, I don't even know why I was at that game, So now
Yeah.
the fact that I'm looking at them and they're 10-3, that's just a beautiful comeback situation. Then that's what you want to see. So I don't know if I'll be watching that game, but I mean, there are implications without a doubt.
Yeah. Definitely for Liberty, quickly. We'll get in the Tulane games in a little bit. If Tulane loses, Liberty wins. There's a good chance that Liberty's going to a New Year's Six Bowl. And believe it or not, if our Longhorns don't get in the playoff, there is a decent chance we play a Tulane or a Liberty in one of the New Year's Six Bowls. I digress. Let's go to a huge conference championship game. Monster implications here. Basically, an elimination game, which we saw last week in the Big Ten. We have Washington and Oregon. This spread is huge.
Yeah.
9.5. And listen, I'm not minding the spread. I think that's a little disservice to Washington. Everyone and their mother is loving this Oregon team and taking Oregon this weekend. both teams, great years. Washington won an instant classic a few months ago against Oregon, but they're 9.5-point dogs. Basically, I think winner is automatically going to get into the playoff, but there is a scenario where if Oregon wins and some craziness happens, things could be up in the air. With that being said, Ethan, Oregon, Washington, what are your thoughts going into this game?
So I remember Oregon, Washington last time. I picked Oregon for the upset, and they were so close. Like I was watching the game,
Yeah.
and I was just like I don't remember how was it like a missed field goal or something like that. Like that's like it was so close, and I was mad. I don't really know if I have a like a money line pick for this game, but can we pull up some passing props because
Yes.
the over under is really 63 and a half, 60, 65 and a half. Pretty nice. So that makes me think that wow, look at that. He's favored to throw, Bo Nix is favored to throw more than 2.5 touchdowns. I'm going to take it.
Love it.
Take it. My first official play, we're going to do Bo Nix over 2.5 touchdown passes.
Okay. I like it. I'm going to quickly throw in a play here. I'm going to do my classic teaser in this situation. I'm going to get Oregon. I'm going to do 6.5 points this time because it's now up to 9.5. So 6.5 points. I'm getting Oregon down to 3, and I'm getting that over under down to. I'm taking the over, so I'm going to get it down to 59. So Oregon -3 and over 59. I think Oregon wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if Washington keeps it close. Listen, it hasn't looked pretty at times all year, but they fight and they deserve to be undefeated. They deserve to be here. I
Mhm.
just have a hard time seeing them getting absolutely walloped, even though Oregon has looked the part for basically the entire year. Uh,
So tell me this: if Oregon, what does it mean for Texas if Oregon beats Washington? Let's talk about
um,
it quick.
Yeah, so Oregon right now is ahead of Texas in
Right.
the rankings. So if like
Do you
sort of
think they could
shock,
like trade? Maybe Oregon and Washington may just trade places. Do you think Oregon could go to 4-3, Washington goes to 5?
yeah, or Washington is out of there completely with the loss. There is a scenario I was like looking or watching the other day that if Oregon wins, there is some like I don't know. There's so many different combinations, but basically, I do think it's a swap situation elimination. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not huge for Texas per se, but there are situations where like if Bama wins. Um, Texas wins, but also Florida State wins
Oh,
or what?
well,
I don't, yeah, whatever. Or Michigan loses, like that kind of thing, where it
yeah,
gets so jumbled it gets
yeah,
hard.
yeah. Cool. Any other plays for this game? It's going to be huge.
Yeah,
We're probably going to have to watch it in the car. We're going to have to start watching it in the car.
but
Um,
it's a great appetizer to the
mm,
Saturday championship
oh yeah,
slate.
you're for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my only play. You have Bo Nix over 2.5 touchdowns. I love that a lot. So we're both rooting for points in this spot, and we're both kind of siding with Oregon, I would
I
say.
mean, if it's anything like the first matchup,
Yeah.
then we'll bring it on.
Yeah, and Oregon outplay them. We'll see if they can get revenge and probably get into the playoff this weekend. Let's move. And we will move to we got 2 games in the start Saturday's championship slate. We'll quickly do the smaller game. Toledo and Miami, Ohio out of the MAC. Toledo, great year for them. They are a last second field goal away in week 1 from being undefeated. They're 11-1. Miami, Ohio, great story. They're 10-2. This game's on ESPN, 11 a.m. Central Time. This is the MAC championship, and the MAC actually, despite a smaller conference, they play at a neutral site in Michigan Ford Field, where the Lions play.
Mm.
So maybe they'll get those powers of being a decent football team in this matchup. Toledo, Miami, Ohio. This spread is at 8. They also played back earlier in I think October, and I want to say Toledo won a close game 21-17. I'm just going to quickly make a play in this game. I'm going to take Miami, Ohio +8. They are a really good defensive minded team. Uh, their quarterback got hurt in that Toledo game. I think they could have won. I love revenge spots in conference championship games.
Mhm.
I'm taking the Red Hawks +8 at Ford Field.
The Red Hawks. It's a good mascot.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about this game.
Okay. And another good mascot on the other side, the Rockets. And, who doesn't love a
Hey,
good space?
of course.
Okay. And we move to probably a game that the entire state of Texas will be watching, as well as our entire group chat. Texas, Oklahoma State. Ethan, you are going to be there. So talk about this game first for me. Oklahoma State, Texas. What a huge spread.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's should be a fun atmosphere for all of the UT fans in attendance. I'm expecting us to show up and show out. However, I do think that there will be a sizable Oklahoma State presence there as well.
Yeah.
You know, based on what they were saying in the group chat, it seems like they have a very similar team to Tech, except obviously they're better, number 18. So, I mean, regardless of what anyone says, to me, as a realistic fan, I don't think we can afford to really mess around with this team, even though the spread is so big. So, I don't really want to necessarily bet the spread, but I will take player props.
Okay.
So, let's see what we got here. Quinn Ewers over 1.5 touchdowns. I'm taking that. Official play.
Do you want to look at rushing or receiving?
Yes. Give me 1 segundo. Let's see now. All right. So, I don't. Here's the thing. I've never really liked UT receivers in their over unders, but I'm thinking about a touch or go back. Can you, rushing. Can you do rushing? Oh, they don't have
Just
backs.
him. Yeah. And I'll talk about him in a second. He is special.
I agree. I wanted to take a look at his picks. So that may be my only play is the Quinn Ewers over 1.5 touchdowns thrown. I went for that
Here's
last time.
touchdown scores.
Oh, we can do that. Is Baxter even there? No.
Yeah.
They have Archman. Oh, there he is. Anytime touchdown score. I like that. I'll take a Baxter anytime touchdown score too.
Okay, I like it.
And let's see if there's anyone else that's appealing. I mean, they're all appealing. That's a thing. Like any UT receiver is worth like.
How's Arch Manning like only +170? Is he really gonna play on Saturday?
Maybe they're thinking that if the game gets blown out of hand, then he can maybe rush in a score. That'd be interesting. But no, I think those would be my two plays. Anytime over 1.5 touchdown passes for Quinn and a Baxter anytime touchdown.
Okay. Yeah, for this game, Texas is definitely the much better team. Every statistic you look at, they are just considerably better. A lot of people, Texas fans, were really wanting to play Oklahoma last week, and I was saying, no, I want to win. I want to just get this over with. I want to win the conference. And that's the team. I don't care what's going on with that program. Every time they play us, it is not easy. We have a hard time beating them. I think this is a much favorable matchup. However, there's one player that could take it upon himself to stun the world, and that is Oklahoma State's running back, Ollie Gordon,
He's
second
good.
or the third. He is outstanding.
Yeah.
However, Texas has a great rush defense. I think they're top 5 in the country or something. It's going to be really hard for him against our defense of unit.
A point though. Texas Tech's running back was like the one good thing about their game against us. You know what I mean? And he was very good also.
Yeah.
So
I think it's going to be a shootout, like a classic shootout. I'm taking the over 55 as an official play. I just think there's going to be points. I think Texas is going to look to make a statement because, listen, you could diss the committee all you want. I'll diss them as much as I can. But at least on the last week of the year, they're in that room. They're all watching all these championship games. So you really want to put out, a final impression before the selection show the next day.
Yeah.
I think Texas is going to score at will. I'm going to ride with you, Ethan. Despite the juice, I'm taking that prop with Quinn Ewers over 1.5 touchdown passes thrown. I'm also I'm gonna take an anytime touchdown scorer. I am gonna go with Jatavion Sanders because I love the juice here. I love the ROI return. I think he finds himself into the end zone at plus 145. And then the last play I'm going to do, I don't think it's on here, but I'm going to do it for the heck of it. We're
Yeah.
taking Bowman, their quarterback, not our good friend Spencer Bowman, but their quarterback, Oklahoma State's, to throw an interception. I think he throws an interception.
He's the old Tech quarterback, is he not? Or is
I
that
think,
another
you
Bowman?
know, I think you're right. Not too sure.
Is his first
Honestly,
name Allen?
Alan
Yeah,
Bowman.
it
Yeah,
is. I think he went to Tech, unless there
no,
was another Allen
yeah,
Bowman.
no, that's a good call. I just think it's going to be a classic shootout. I think we're going to win comfortably. I don't know as much to cover that number, but we
Yeah.
win comfortably. He gets a little.
Repeat your Bowman play. Are you doing his over as well?
No, no, no. I'm doing over half an interception.
Oh,
He
I
just needs to throw an
sweet,
interception.
sweet, sweet. The complete opposite. I
Yeah.
like it.
Last 3 games, by the way, he's thrown 6, so I like
Wow.
this. Yeah.
Okay.
I was listening to, Mike's good friend Josh Pate last night, and he was
Mm,
throwing out numbers left and right,
mm.
and, of course, had to get the mind flowing for today's show, so
Yeah.
I'm
Beautiful.
locked in. Okay. Hopefully,
A
we'll
lot of
win.
good plays there. I like it
Yeah.
a lot.
Huge
Gotta ride with our
huge
guys.
yeah, and that's the start of the day. A lot of good plays. Hopefully, Texas wins, and we'll
Mhm.
get into one of the 2 scenarios where they need help. But before we do that, we talk about this game. This game is in Allegiant Stadium at the Death Star in Las Vegas. UNLV, Boise State Mountain West, close to my heart being a San Diego State fan. Quickly here, I love to go on my soapbox. They determined a three-way tie with San Jose State based on BCS computer rankings, which they haven't used in college football since 2013. But for some reason, the Mountain West is using it, and I feel bad for the Spartan Nation community that gets left out of this situation. But we have Boise State and UNLV. This should be a really good game. Spread is down to 2.5 in favor of the Broncos of UNLV. I'm going to take the over 59. UNLV likes to run and gun. They've had another talk about New Mexico State. UNLV, same kind of situation. Turn their program around. Their coach probably going to get hired soon by a Power 5 program.
Mhm.
I think UNLV is going to score points. I do think Boise wins this game, so I'm going to also do Boise State money line. 2 official plays, over 59 and money line Boise State. There should be a good presence of UNLV fans there, but
Yeah.
Boise State's a better football team, and they've really turned on the Jets the last month or so of the season. They were under 500. People were asking, do we fire their coach? Blah, blah, blah. Now here they are for a conference crown.
That's the turnaround that you wanna see,
Yeah.
mid-season turnaround.
Yeah,
Doesn't
and
get
as
better than
as
that.
you know, Ethan,
I lose.
following the sport, this Boise State's been a program that just consistently wins.
It's the blue field.
Yeah.
It's the blue field.
Yeah.
You can't
Anything
you can't win on the blue field. That's impossible.
anything degen wise you want to sweat in this game?
I was thinking about and now that I do this to myself because I start thinking as you're talking and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. But then I start talking and then I usually do something. So I think I am going to do something here. You know, clearly a lot more for the viewers. I know nothing about this game. I know nothing about this game. I'm saying that right now. Bet responsibly, bet within your means. But I am taking UNLV just to compete against you. But I also like the point of you said Boise State better football team. I believe you. I believe you. But I think home court advantage. That's what I'm
Yeah.
making this bet on. So I'm just for the pure degeneracy sake of it. Don't know anything about UNLV. We're taking UNLV money line here,
Love it.
and we'll see what happens. Will I
Yeah.
lose? Probably, but
Yeah.
that's the point of being a degenerate person.
A little back and forth. And listen, we do these games because I know there are people that on Saturday will have multiple screens at whatever
Yeah.
household or venue they're watching. And guess what? This game will be in the afternoon, multiple screen scenario, and you should have coin on it, in my
This
opinion.
this could be we're in the middle of nowhere, Texas, just trying to make it home, and we're on our phones,
Yeah.
laptops, personal hotspots going crazy. This will be the game most likely.
Yeah. Crazy that I'm just looking at this championship slate, so I'm quickly rumble through. I won't go as long into this, but we have 2 other smaller conference championships at the same time as Georgia and Bama.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna need 4 screens in the afternoon. Quickly here, we'll
It can be
start
done.
with this. We'll start with this game, Troy and Appalachian State in the
Mm,
Sun Belt. 12 of their 14 members also qualified for a bowl this year. This conference has been consistently incredible year in and year out. 2 of the best teams here, Troy, App State. Listen, I've been an App State homer for about a decade plus now. I love
Witness
this
to
team.
that. Witness
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah, and, listen, they talk about a program that consistently wins, also another program that consistently wins in the Troy Trojans. I think this is gonna be a fantastic game,
Mhm.
definitely worth a watch at some point. We're gonna go with Nate Noel, anytime touchdown scorer for the Appalachian State Mountaineers. That is my only official play. I do think App State could win this game outright. I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on them, but I'm not too confident. This game is also at Troy's home football arena, so could be a tough environment for App State.
Mm.
That's what I have in the Fun Belt Championship. Shout out both those teams for consistently winning. Let's move to a big game for the group of 5 folks, also our good friend Ben Beal. We head to the American Athletic Championship game. This is a win and in, kind of like the Pac-12 championship, but this is a win and in for a New Year's Six Bowl for the Wave of Tulane. Can they do it against a really good SMU team that is top 25? Another fun stat, Ethan. First group of 5 team that is top 25 in offense efficiency and defense efficiency. That is
Wow.
SMU. Great
Okay.
year. Yeah, and they're obviously moving to the ACC conference, so they're going to be a Power 5 program. So good things for them as they move up the rankings. Tulane, SMU. I am taking Tulane money line. This
Mhm.
is a big play for me. I think they're a better football team. And Michael Pratt, one of us, member of the tribe community. I love Tulane in this spot, and a lot on the line for them. They're playing to go to back New Year's Six Bowls, and we know what happened last year when they stunned USC in a barn burner thriller. That's my play. Ethan, any thoughts on this game before we get to the big one?
I love it. Everyone has been Tulane, the past 2, 3 years has really kind of come up and they've had some really good seasons. So, if they can just keep adding to the momentum, that'd be great.
Yes, and we will see SMU. Shout out to Drew, another friend of ours. Good team there. But we will see. Also, outside chance if SMU were to win for them to jump Liberty. I don't think it will happen. We'll see. Let's move to the big game of the afternoon slate, the SEC championship. It is the 2 big dogs in college football. It seems like Alabama and Georgia,
Mhm.
huge implications for not just SEC, it is college football playoff, it is for Texas, it is for even Ohio State. There's a scenario where they get in. It's huge for every team still in the college football playoff discussion. Bama now it's at 5.5. I saw it was at 6.5 yesterday. This line is just moving back and forth. Tons of money on it. Probably the most bet game of the weekend. Alabama, Georgia. Ethan, thoughts on this game, and I'll get into what Texas needs in a second.
Yeah, every part of my soul and body wants me to throw anything on Alabama, but I just don't think I can do it. I think that Georgia is it's so tough for me. I think I'm honestly going to stay away from this game. That's like a really kind of not degenerate thing to do, but it's just like it's so tough because it's tough. That's all I can say. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a really tough game for me.
Mhm.
I think there's just so many it's so much variability, if that's the
Mhm.
right word in this game.
Mhm.
I could see so many different things happen. I could see Bama just somehow murdering Georgia. They just play a great game. They win the turnover battle, and they just dominate Georgia's line of scrimmage. And Beck really hasn't, for Georgia, hasn't really faced a lot of pressure. I think
Mhm.
Alabama could really get to him and cause some havoc. But on the other front, I could see Georgia just kind of manhandling them, controlling tempo, um, kind of just stopping Milrow and his running ability and making it really hard for Bama and Georgia just winning comfortably.
Mhm.
There's so many different things I could see in this game. I really have no idea how it's going to play out. So
Yeah.
this is why I'm going to take a teaser, taking Alabama plus 11 and a half, and I'm going to do the under 60 and a half. So Bama plus 11 and a half, under 60 and a half. I think it's going to be a little bit more defensive minded, and Bama keeps it
I can see
close.
that.
Yeah. And for Texas, there is one of two things other than obviously Texas needing to win. They need Bama to win, as much as it pains me to say. A lot of people think it's a guarantee that Texas gets in with a Bama win. That's
I mean,
not the case.
if you're looking at strength of schedule, everyone wants to talk about strength of schedule with Texas.
Yeah.
With a transitive property. That's like the
Yeah.
definition of when transitive property would be applicable, because that makes sense to me. But yeah, this game is going to be crazy.
Yeah. Basically, it would be hard for the committee to take Bama instead of Texas, if Bama were to win. However, it is hard for me at the same time to see a world where the committee does not put an SEC team into the playoff. It's a
Yeah.
really hard thing to swallow. They've never
Because
done it.
listen, last year, perfect example,
Yeah,
TCU versus Georgia, that was like
yeah.
a disgustingly bad game. So it's just like,
And I personally think these two teams are probably the two best teams. Michigan, you could argue. I know Bama looked horrible last week and should have lost, but I chalk that up to being a huge rivalry. That game is always
mhm.
crazy, no matter what. However,
The same thing about UTOU.
exactly.
Is
Yeah,
clearly the better team, but just that rivalry game. I think we got out coached a little bit. I mean, that was so long ago, but it's the same. I get that argument for
yeah.
sure.
We'll see. We'll talk about the another game in a second that has even bigger implications for Texas. You want to talk about strength schedule? I agree with you, Ethan. Oregon should not be ahead of Texas or Alabama. They have the worst strength schedule,
Mhm.
but the committee likes them, and the committee's just not consistent. That's why I have my gripes with them. And also, we'll talk about this game. Florida State should not be. You got to take the best teams. I know they're undefeated, but I saw a stat. Vegas thinks they're like 6.5 points worse without their quarterback, Jordan Travis. So
I
they're
would
not gonna
tend
be
to agree with them.
yeah, they're not gonna be favored against any of these teams.
Right.
I just think as painful as it is for Seminole fans, like, without your quarterback, you shouldn't be allowed in the playoff. However, we'll talk about it, and I guess we'll talk about it right now. Um, they have a huge game against Louisville. This is the other result where Texas gets in my opinion, automatically with a
Hmm.
Louisville win.
Hmm.
The only thing that concerned me, I know, but another rivalry game, so chalk it up to just a rival. Louisville loses outright to Kentucky last weekend.
Yeah.
Kentucky's not a good football team. They lose outright at home. Hopefully, chalk it up to a rivalry game. Spread is only 2.5. That's just telling you that this Florida State team without Jordan Travis is just not the same. The 2.5 point favorites against Louisville.
It's
Come on.
it's it's not, it's clearly not. Florida almost beat them, and they were
Yeah,
what, 5-6, and they choked because of that horrible like, no, it
I know.
wasn't a horrible call. Those the players that got in trouble for the targeting are idiots. But
Yeah.
like that was, they easily could have won that game. I don't know. So
Would it any plays that you like in this Florida State Louisville game?
um well, I'm thinking about just Hail Marrying one from half court and just taking a Louisville money line.
That's what we need.
I know, and that's why I kind of want to do it, because hope is a powerful thing, and if hope, if you can believe, if you will it, it is no dream. So,
Like that.
yeah, so I think I'm gonna do it. I'm telling you, the more I talk, the more I just start things just start spewing from my mouth. That's what happens. So we're gonna take Louisville money line here.
Okay, I'm gonna go the opposite of you, but rooting
Yeah,
for you to win. Taking
yeah.
Florida State money line. It hasn't been pretty even without the quarterback, but I just think they're really well coached in Jay Norvell. It might be ugly, it might be disgusting, and they might even get outplayed. But I think they're just gonna claw their way and find a way to victory. As much as it pains me to say, we'll
Right.
see.
And it'll be incredibly painful if that's the outcome that happens where they get outplayed and still
Yeah,
win. Everyone knows they get outplayed and then they still win and then they get in the playoffs. That'd be that like, that it would be such a what if
yeah.
scenario for
I mean,
Texas.
it would be cool for the committee to somehow, even if they won, like just put like a Texas or Alabama just ahead of them on the selection show. But
Mhm.
considering that they did not move this week, it's hard for me to see them with a win get dropped out. I don't
Yeah.
think it's possible.
I
However,
wish that we
quick,
could get like rationale
yeah,
behind the picks that they make, the selection committee picks. That'd be really nice.
yeah.
But
Quickly here, Texas is in with a Florida State loss.
yeah.
They are, in my opinion, 50-50 with a Bama win. If like Georgia loses last second or super, super close, I'm not comfortable to say that Texas is going to get in. Uh,
Mhm.
Personally, I know a lot of our friends in the chat like will say that we should be, and I'm not saying that, but if they lose a heartbreaker, it is hard for me to just comfortably sit there and tell you that they're going to put us in over Georgia or Bama. They're going to have to make a decision. Like I even could see them just saying, you know what, Georgia loses a heartbreaker, Georgia's at 4, Texas is at 5, Bama's at 6. Sorry, it's just not enough for us to jump them. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, they're 1. It's not like they're number 2. That's a
No,
lot of spots for them to fall.
like I've said it multiple times as this podcast has gone along. Georgia is really the new Alabama. I know
Yeah,
Alabama has kind of made a late push and they've looked good against other ranked teams, but Georgia is the top dog now. Nick Saban is really not any. I mean, like he's obviously still up there, but Kirby Smart is the man right now. So
yeah. And back in 2014, another thing that I saw last night, Ohio State was on the outside looking in, and no one thought they would get in the first college football playoff. But then they played their championship game. They were dogs against Wisconsin. They won 59-0, and they got in. So I think like a crazy result in either direction could really put in a team that you just didn't think like would get in. Like if Georgia loses a super close game, I think it's still enough for them to get in. Or if Alabama even Ethan, they win by like 20, 25 or something crazy that no one thinks could happen. I
mhm.
think they could even get in over Texas. I know it's
Yeah,
crazy.
no, 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 no.
Um,
I don't think that's crazy at all because if you're beating the top dog,
yeah,
you're showing that you can have some fight. So
yeah. We'll
uh,
see. Quickly before we get to the NFL here, I don't want to talk too much about this game. This is basically a mid-major game, in my opinion. Michigan also has a bye week at the same time. Michigan, Iowa, the spread's 22. We also have a fun prop bet for Iowa fans. We're at a half point for each half, over under. Can Iowa score in either half? Can they score at all? I don't think they can.
or at
I
all,
have
you think
actually
it's gonna be
bet
a shutout?
yeah, I actually bet Ethan under half a point in the first half. I do think
Wow.
I like their over in the second half because some scrap points at the end, but
Mhm.
I think that they are not gonna score unless they get a defensive score.
Oh, you know
Michigan
what? I'll ride that bet with you. I'll
okay.
ride that bet with you. Um,
Yeah, so I have an exact result for good odds. Iowa not scoring in the first half, but scoring in the second half. I think, uh, the Hawkeyes are going to get absolutely work to Michigan. Michigan might just they're gonna be content when they go up 2 scores to just consistently run the ball. Mike, great to have you here in the chat. Iowa money line, that would be something special. Uh, but it's probably not gonna happen. Mike, I don't know if you're still in here, but we talked about playoff scenarios. There are some things that Pate brought up last night where I think Texas could get left out even with a Bama win if they won by 20 plus. However, Ethan, any thoughts on Iowa, Michigan?
no, besides for the fact that that bet is hilarious and I want to ride with it. That's it. That's the only official play that we have. Iowa under the
Love it.
0.5 points in the
Yeah.
first half.
Oh,
That's
and I'll take those ridiculous odds. Blake Corum is getting into the end zone.
oh,
Um,
sweet. Okay.
easy, easy. Despite the juice, he'll get in the end zone no problem against Iowa.
Sweet.
I watched that game in person in the freezing cold. Couldn't feel my feet. Iowa Nebraska worst football game made me question my love of college football. That's how I'll end the college football segment. Let's get quickly here into the NFL. This is not a great slate of NFL games. I think this is the most buys of the year
Mm,
for the sport this week. And after this week, we start basically no more buys. I think there's a few next week, but that's it. Let's talk about tonight's game quickly here. Cowboys Seahawks spread is 9. Um, what are your thoughts in Dallas tonight?
my thoughts are this is like the best Thursday night football game that we've probably ever had this season.
Yeah.
I was talking about it with our good friend Cole last night because we were going over some fantasy football scenarios here. He has Tyler Lockett and he isn't sure whether to start him or not. I personally said yes because, you'd think just how common sense goes. You'd think that DK Metcalf, the Cowboys defense is great even without Trayvon Diggs. They have that guy Bland who just, it seems like every single game he's getting a pick six now. But so you'd think that DK Metcalf, it's unfortunate for me because I have DK, that you think that he's not going to play that well, which will leave a lot more room for Lockett and Jigba to do something. But I don't know. You know what I am going to do though, because I need it really badly. Let's see what. Ooh, okay. First of all, at the beginning of the season, I was a huge Brandon Cook supporter, but he let me down every single week. But now, the second
Uh-huh.
half of
I
the
was
season,
gonna take him.
he has been the Brandon Cooks that he needed to be the whole season. He's come to play. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take Brandon Cooks over 41 and a half receiving yards.
I'm in on that with you. I'll ride it.
Okay. At 30, let's do, and then let's see some Tony Pollard action. I'm thinking about maybe taking a Tony Pollard anytime touchdown, and I'm thinking about it so that that's probably a lock for me. Over 63 and a half receiving yards. I mean running yards.
Yeah, and
Okay.
good decent odds for anytime touchdown if you want to do that too.
I think I'll do both because I really need Tony Pollard this week, and in the fantasy league that you and I are in together, I really need him because we're getting to the point in the fantasy football season where any single win
Yeah.
is the
Is
most important thing.
is that the league where I haven't won a game?
It's quite possible, yeah, and
Yeah.
and by that I mean yes, it is. So
Yeah. Yes.
so I'm going to do Pollard over rushing and an anytime touchdown score. We're riding him hard this week. Because we need it. We need him to do something. So those are my two plays. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bet somebody to get in the end zone. Let's go. I love tight ends,
Oh,
especially on primetime games. Jake Ferguson, plus
mhm,
160 to get in the end zone tonight. Anytime touchdown. I'll take that bet to the
nice.
grave with me. So I am on Cooks with you, and I'm gonna do Ferguson anytime touchdown. Those are my two
Yeah.
plays tonight.
Now I dropped Brandon Cooks after probably like week 4, and he was
Mhm.
just kind of riding the waivers, and then he really, these past couple of weeks they've started to feature him more. The offenses look better, which I was saying at the beginning that needed to happen, and it really didn't, but now it's starting, and so I am a huge Cook supporter since his days in Houston, and that did not stop when he left. So,
Yeah. Oh, and quickly here, I have to do this now that
mhm.
we were talking. I've done this all year and it's hit at like 80 to 85%. I'm going to do Seahawks teaser. We're going to go from 9 to 15, and we're going to do under 53 and a half. So under 53 and a half and Seahawks plus 15. The unders and the underdog in a teaser this year in primetime games is hitting at a crazy rate. So I'm gonna ride with that Seahawks plus 15 and under 53 and a half.
How do you? So yeah, I mean, and just in general, I know that unders for prime time
Yeah.
games, it's crazy how much they're hitting.
Mhm.
So I think that's a really good play.
Thank you. Hopefully it will hit.
Mm.
Just a reminder also, 6-point teasers, even odds. At any time. If you want to do more points, you're losing value. So that's why I usually do 6 points. Let's move to the Sunday slate of games, and I believe we have to talk about your team, Ethan. This is quite frankly a huge game Sunday.
Yeah.
Texans and Broncos.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, the Broncos are right back into the thick
Mhm.
of things in the playoff hunt, and
Yeah.
your Texans are coming off a tough loss.
Yeah.
Um, they got revenge spotted by the Jags and Trevor
Mhm.
Lawrence,
Mhm.
overrated quarterback. 3.5 point spread. What are your thoughts?
Oh, they have the Texans at 3.5. Okay.
Yeah, it's in Houston.
No thoughts because I've said it, either last week or last podcast or the podcast before that. Every single time that I make a Texans play, it just does not hit because I don't know why. They are the team that I watch every week, reading articles every single day. For some reason, I don't know, and
Mhm.
that's literally every single loss that we've had except for the Ravens week 1, which is the only play that I knew we were going to lose to the Ravens. We did, and that was fine. Every single other has been off a game-winning field goal, which is crazy. Like, you know,
Oh, yeah, I
so
was on the plane last week, I didn't see until I saw a highlight. You guys clanked
yeah,
a field goal to
he
lose the
he
game?
he he boinked a field goal off the bottom of the post, so it was literally like an inch or two away from tying the game. It was 68 yards, and honestly, when you look at the kick, it does not look like I'm not like blaming Matt Amendola. It just looked like he didn't put that much into it, which makes me think that if he would have really exerted that leg, he could have hit that. But
Wow.
68 yards is a long way. It was a definitely tough loss to swallow because CJ played, fine. He had a nice bounce back game after the 3 interception game from a week ago. Tank Dell did good. Nico Collins did good. Um, I really have no thoughts on this game. I think that the Broncos are a very underrated team now because Russell Wilson got so much hate last year. Now he's actually playing, pretty decently, and no one wants to talk about him anymore because there's just not a lot of hate to give anymore. So I don't think that this is a team that the Texans can sleep on. And same for the Broncos. The Texans are not a team to be slept on either. They have a lot going right for them. It's crazy that we're even thinking about playoffs for the Texans. I saw multiple news sources that said that the Texans were going to be the worst team in the NFL this season, which I did not. I did not agree with that, but I also did not. I expected us to be like maybe a 500 team, which is kind of the direction that we're trending. But now people are starting to talk about playoffs. I think it's a little too soon to be talking about playoffs. But I think I'm going to stay away from this from my team this week.
Okay, that's fair. And yeah, I just pulled up the playoff picture. A huge game. I mean, Denver and Houston are the two teams right on the outside looking
Yeah,
in right now,
yeah,
losing that tiebreaker at the moment to the Colts at 6-5. So it's a huge, huge game for both teams. Basically, the loser is going to be in a really tough spot, and the winner is going to be in a much better spot.
and
And
I
also,
mean, the thing is, though, I believe that the Texans still have to play the Colts again because
okay, so
oh no, I think that we lost to the Colts pretty bad at the beginning of the season as well. We did one. Oh, I'm in preseason. Shoot, let's just see for the
yeah, you did, but you get a
31,
rematch with them. Yeah,
31 to
end
20.
of the year, last game could mean a lot.
Yeah, I really could. So and
Um,
they're like our biggest rival. So
yeah.
that'll be
Uh,
fun.
it probably with the AFC wild card probably will come down the last week of the year. This game, I'm only going to do one thing. I don't love either spread in this case. I think it's going to be a really competitive football game, but could
Mhm,
go either way.
mhm.
Not confident in either side. So I'm going to do, but I love the name. I feel like he does really well whenever I play him in fantasy. So Tank Dell,
Mm,
anytime touchdown for him. I picked up also, by the way, Singletary. He's been
yeah,
pretty solid for me,
same.
um, but I can't ride any of my fantasy players because they are cursed. So Tank Dell plus 125, anytime touchdown. He gets in against the Broncos. Should be a really close game,
Yeah,
and I'm excited to watch it. This is one of the best games in the morning slate on Sunday. Let's move to another big game. This is in the afternoon slate. This is a huge game. Eagles, Niners. Eagles coming off. Fortunate enough to get back to the house after my flight in time to watch the end of the fourth quarter and overtime of the Eagles
mhm.
Bills game in the pouring rain in Philly. Eagles Niners. This should be an absolute thriller. Two favorites in the NFC. Thoughts on Eagles and Niners?
Yeah, so the Niners are favored, which is crazy because to me, the Eagles have looked like the better team this year. The Niners have a lot of talent, though. But
Yeah,
I think that
scary line movement for the
yeah, I
Niners.
mean, well, that's the thing. I think that the Chase Young addition, no, yeah, I can't forget about that because now that D line is just unfair. Um, let's see some props though, because I don't think that I can pick a. I don't think that I can pick a winner here money line. So over. See, and that's the thing because I think that this game is going to come down to just play calling. I think this game is going to come down to game plan. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I don't know if I want to pick anything here either. I really like the over 1.5 touchdown passes for honestly for both quarterbacks.
Take them.
Um, hey, if you say so, I will. Here we go.
Didn't need
Okay.
much convincing, but
No, it did not. So over
I
one and a
like it.
half touchdown passes for Purdy and Hurts. Um, but we'll see if there's anything else I want to do.
I'm quickly gonna throw in AJ Brown anytime touchdown. I feel like he gets into the end
It's
zone
been the
every
old
week.
reliable for me. I'll ride that with you too. Who cares?
Awesome.
Um,
And I'm on the Niners. I'm on them. I'm taking
okay,
a money line. I think they're
okay.
gonna win the football game.
Sorry, I cannot type.
No,
Okay,
you're good.
no, this game is honestly Houston and Broncos, and this game are going to be like the two games that I'm going to have my eyes glued to the TV because they're going to
Yeah.
be both hopefully going to be very good games. So we'll see what happens here. You know what I'm actually going to do in the Texans Broncos, we're going to do a
Okay.
rare backtrack because now that I think about it, um can you go back to that game because I'm
Mhm.
going to make one play that I have not done all year. Can you see can you go to Cortland's yes, Cortland Sutton receiving yards.
56 and a half.
I'm going to take his under.
Okay.
I'm going to take his under. This is assuming Derek Stingley doesn't get injured, which can happen every single week. This is such a good matchup for him because Cortland Sutton is big, Derek Stingley is big and physical. I think that Derek Stingley can win this matchup. So wait, what's his under? What is his? What is it? 56 and a half? I'm
Yeah.
taking rare reversal. But
Love
that'll
it.
be my play.
Okay. I love it personally. If you're confident in something, shoot. So we move to the Sunday night football now. So we picked out, we have all our primetime games, and we picked out the two best games in each slate. There are some good games that could be competitive, but teams aren't great, so we chose to bypass them for now. Let's do Chiefs and Packers Sunday night football. Weather-wise, this game could be cold and it could be snowy, it could be freezing rain. Who knows? Something to keep in mind: Chiefs, Packers in Green Bay. Green Bay, another team like the Broncos. You wrote them off a few weeks ago, but they're here. They're right in the playoff race now with the huge win on Thanksgiving against the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
They've also had extra rest. Keep that in mind with some of these teams that played on Thanksgiving, like the not the Cowboys because they're playing Thursday, but this is a very interesting game. Spread 5.5 over under 42.5. I'm diving into more touchdown props probably, but what are you liking in this game, Ethan?
I was saying the same thing, but I want to see what you have to
Okay.
say.
Or old reliable Travis Kelsey.
Kelsey, yep, of course.
Taylor Swift is attractive. -105 anytime touchdown. That's
Love it.
happening.
Uh-huh. You got it.
Um,
Is it a home game for the
no,
Chiefs?
it's in Green Bay. I don't know if she'll go to that
Okay.
because
Yeah, so I just saw like a tabloid thing. I hate looking at tabloids, but apparently Taylor Swift is taking a break from touring and living in Travis Kelsey's Kansas City mansion. So if the game was in Kansas City, she would be there 100%.
ooh,
But it's cool. It's cool. Um, You know who's been playing really, really well, and he's just been having. Is there any way we could do like a total yards for a player, or does that not exist? Because Isaiah Pacheco, these past couple of
Um,
weeks, have been playing really, really well, but I don't really know how I want to take him. I don't know if I want to take his over on the rushing or on the receiving. But let's see. Let's see what his receiving situation is like.
I
Does he
don't see
have it?
him.
He doesn't.
Um,
Well, it's fine.
da, 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 da.
Because if we had that option, I would probably take his over. Let me just look at how his fantasy stats have been doing because
Okay.
he's been
His
playing.
rushing's at 66.5. Just
I feel like that's pretty Yeah, I have him in right now. So let's see.
I
20
mean, it's probably
25
close to
last week.
100. His,
Um,
his combination, maybe like in the low 90s or something.
yeah,
Or
so he was against the Raiders. He was 15 for 55. He had a very solid all around game. I think I'll actually stay away from him, but I don't think that I really have any plays this game. Maybe I'll take a yeah. Can we do an over under for Mahomes touchdown? Oh, it's minus 190. That makes sense. Um, should I do a little degeneracy here and we'll ride with Jordan Love again? I'll do the Love over, even though the
he's
Chiefs
been playing well.
good. I know. I'm gonna do the over 1.5 touchdown passes for him. Even if they get blown out, he could still do something.
Yeah, I
Um,
like it.
I think that that's a risky play, but again, degeneracy. I'm telling the viewers, got to be honest with the viewers. I don't know
Yeah,
how I feel about it, but sometimes you do it anyway. So
but good ROI at least.
yeah, yeah.
So
If worse comes to worse, that's what you can say. So okay, that'll be
exactly.
my play.
I'm gonna do weather-wise, I'm a little concerned. I'm gonna do Mahomes under 264.5
Oh
passing
my God.
yards.
I wasn't even thinking about the weather. You literally said it could be cold, it could be rainy, and it's an outdoor
Yeah,
stadium, which is brutal. So if it
I know.
snows, if it's
It's gonna if
be
it snows, it's gonna be hard to throw the ball, at least I
very
would
hard to
think.
throw the ball.
Um,
Very hard to throw the ball.
Iowa
So
State,
man,
Kansas
that's
State. Yeah,
tough.
Iowa State, Kansas State, kinda went against the norm last week in college football. It was
Yeah,
snowing, and they put up 1,000,000 points, but
yeah.
generally, it's hard to throw the ball in the snow, so
Extremely hard. Extremely hard. So I'll keep the play because
okay,
I'm not gonna back out of anything, but yeesh,
yeah.
yikes,
No,
yikes.
no, it could be fine, I don't know, but there
Yeah.
is a chance. I looked, there's a
Weather's
chance.
tough. Weather is
Yeah,
very tough. You never know.
and
So
it's Green Bay in now December when the game is gonna happen, like,
but if
that's
if if any team should know how to play in that weather, it should be the home team.
that
It should be
you've
Green
said
Bay.
it. Thank you. That's all I
So
needed. We're gonna do a prop or not a prop, a spread or a teaser. It's prime time. Excuse
yeah,
me. We're taking the underdog. We're taking the under. So we're
yeah.
gonna go Packers plus 11.5, and we're gonna go under 48.5. Two-team teaser, 6 points. Classic. Those that will be a play for sure. I think Packers keep it somewhat close, and it's lower scoring, uh, kind of game.
Mm,
Basically, similar to what I have tonight with the Seahawks. So we'll see.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Talked about a lot of football. Let's end
I
it on the
just did a
right
quick
note.
scroll over our notes. We
Yeah.
placed a ton. Dude, this is a welcome back to
Yeah.
the podcast because good lord, we have some plays today. So
Tons of sweats, tons
yeah.
of bets,
Uh-huh.
huge slate of football. Let's end it on the right note here. It was a good
Please.
game. Jags and Bengals. I know we don't have Burrow though for the Bengals. So that's why they're 9-point favorites. Monday Night Football. Thoughts on this game? Very low over under as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you said it with Trevor Lawrence that he's overrated. I agree with that.
That's a
Um,
vendetta. Don't.
he's still a good quarterback, but I mean, I don't know. Um, Jamar Chase in his first full game without Joe Burrow did not do horribly. He still had
Yeah, he
81.
did better than I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, he had 81 receiving yards against Pittsburgh, which has a pretty tough secondary, and the
Yeah.
Jags, like the Texans, honestly lit up the Jags, and we still lost. But I think this is going to be a very interesting game to watch. I honestly want to pick the Bengals to win, which is crazy. I'm not going to do it though, but just because I'm a Texans fan, we need the Jags to be losing.
Yeah.
So that would be great if the Bengals could pull something out. But I don't think I have any place for this game. What about you?
Can I convince you, since you think they might win, which I'm not opposed to that, maybe
Mhm.
take them +9.
The
I
ROI would be stupid.
Oh,
For
yeah, if you took a money line, yeah.
320 is pretty good. That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. But to me, it would all again come down to play calling because Jake Browning. Here's the thing. Let's see how he did last week. Did he do decent for
Well,
backup?
while you look that up, you're welcome to ride this with me. We'll do it again.
Mhm.
Bengals up to 15 and under 44.5, similar to the Seahawks game. Underdogs and unders in primetime games. Teaser 6 points. If you want to ride that with me, we'll see. I might go 0-3 in them, but who knows?
So let me see real quick how he did. Um, come on. So yeah, this was last week. We got the
Also,
well, it was versus Steelers, and the Steelers always play just ugly, sloppy football, and they win.
yeah,
So Browning, though, here's the thing: against the Steelers, who have a tough defense, he was 19 of 26, 73% completion percentage. That's not bad for 227 and a touchdown and a pick. I did not watch the game, so that some of that. Well, there's no way it really could have been garbage time because it was 16-10, so it was close. And it seems like he spread the ball around pretty nicely here. That's interesting. That's interesting. But I don't think he's that bad of a backup because
no,
when he was at Washington, he had some seasons where he definitely could sling it.
yeah.
So, but I think I'll stay away. I think I stay.
Okay.
Your teaser picks are going crazy today. So
Yeah, and I have a few more picks that I'm just gonna sling off.
let's go.
I'm going to go as much as I bash him. I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence under half an interception at +100. I just think they're going to be ahead, and he won't need to really force things, and he'll
Mhm.
be. He's really good, in my opinion, when things are going well and
Yeah,
they're winning football games. But
yeah.
when things are going not good and they're down a tough game, that's when he tries to do too much, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be a little bit of the opposite in this game. So
Mhm.
I'm going to go under half a pick for him. They don't have it on here. I was looking, but I'm going to do it anyway because this guy is getting in. Travis Etienne,
I
anytime
literally
touchdown.
was typing that for myself
Okay,
because I
well,
said I wasn't going to make a play, and then I
yeah,
literally forgot I have Travis Etienne on 2 fantasy teams, and he's good.
yeah. I think he
So
gets it in the
I'm
end zone.
writing that with you. I'm writing
Yeah,
that with you.
those are my plays for the game. Huge, huge card.
Yeah,
Huge.
this is. I mean, like, should I count all the plays we made? I'm gonna.
If you want, I know you have to run in a few minutes here. But it's been a very productive show here. Please like and subscribe to the video. But we got a lot of plays. Let us know if you're riding any of these with us. Huge card, Ethan. We'll be counting the plays.
34 total picks today. That may be a record. That may be a record for
Love
this.
it. Before we go, let's remind the viewers what do we have in tonight's game, as we always do.
So tonight we got Cowboys Seahawks. We got some plays today.
Okay.
So we have Cooks over 41.5 receiving yards. Both of us like that play. Pollard over rushing and anytime touchdown. That's for me because I need him. We're praying to the fantasy Lord. And then Ferguson anytime touchdown for you, which I like a lot too. And then your famous teasers. We got a Seahawks teaser under 53 and no, Seahawks. Sorry, I messed that up. Seahawks plus 15 and under 53 total points. That's the play. So I just wrote it wrong. So
Love it.
those are our 4 plays. Yeah, this weekend is going to be nuts. This is probably the most anticipated football week for me because the Texans, if we don't make the playoffs, I'm a realist. I will honestly be okay with it because there's still some growing to do. But every win is a must win now for Texas. There's so much to look for. And starting off with a really good Thursday night slate, which like I've never said that this season. So I think that there's just a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, it's loaded, and tomorrow you got the Pac-12 championship game. I mean, it is absolutely jam-packed
Um,
from today through the weekend. So I'm super excited,
yeah,
jealous at the same time that you get to experience Big 12 championship game. Hopefully, you come out with a dub.
yeah.
We'll see, and we'll be back next week to break it all down, and we'll see how we go about this, Ethan. We'll talk about it off show, but we'll have a full bowl slate that we'll need to dissect and figure
Mhm.
out how we're gonna do
100
that.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. There will be a lot of bowl games
yeah.
to talk about.
But with that, for Adam Glick, for Ethan Weingart, Glick's Picks Wine Locks here on Pure Degeneracy, please like and subscribe the video. Follow our social medias on Instagram and TikTok. But
Mhm.
that's all for
Little
now.
break from the posting, but we're gonna be back up and
Yes,
at it now that we're done with the kind of major holiday break for the next several weeks. It's a
yeah,
fun time to be where we are right now. So
extremely fun. Enjoy all the great football. Let's win some bets. Let's make some coin, and we'll see you back here, same time, same place next Thursday. Everyone have a great weekend and enjoy the football.
adios.